What's going on, everybody? It's Joe with Total Justice Gaming, back for another episode of Bot Talk. Today we are revisiting a old friend, newly upgraded. This is the 4-wide Pierce deck, now with Wave 4 added. Quite a bit's changed in a little bit's changed in the lineup. Half the lineup has changed. Quite a bit has changed in the other deck. Boy almighty has it. So, let's get right into it. We got Flame War Trigger Happy, we now have Raider Nova Storm, and we have Predacon Headstrong. This is a blue-black deck, so we are going to be heavily defensive while trying to deal as much guaranteed damage as possible. Flipping over characters, right off the bat, we have Flame War, who's a motorcycle specialist. She's a 3/10/1. When you flip to this mode, each of your characters gets bold 1 to the end of the turn. Flipping her over, she is a specialist. She is still a 3/10/1, and each of your characters has tough 1. Raider Trigger Happy is a 3/12/2, who says when you flip to this mode, return a weapon from your scrap pile to your hand. He is a plain and ranged. Flipping him over into bot mode, he is a ranged character. He is a 2/12/2 that has Pierce 4. Raider Nova Storm is a plain and ranged. She is a 3/12/1 that has the ability of when this has an black upgrade. When this has a black upgrade and you flip to this mode, move 1 damage counter from this to an enemy. And when we flip her over to her bot form, she is ranged. She is a 5/12/1, very similar to Drag Strip. She's a go for broke kind of gal, with the ability of, while this has a black upgrade, she has Pierce 3, so she becomes 5 Pierce 3. And Headstrong is our Predacon combiner, who is now standing in for Fireflight. He is in alt mode a 1/5/3 who has Brave, and in bot mode he is a 3/5/2. So we have someone to give us tough 1. We have Pierce 4 with the ability to pick up weapons. We have someone who gets Pierce 3 when she has a weapon, and while she has a black upgrade, we can move damage off of her onto an enemy, keeping her pretty healed, but, you know, not as much as you would think. And then we have Headstrong, who is never leaving his Rhino form because he is a 3 defense with Brave. So he's going to be attracting the majority of our damage while having a big, thick armor hide to which barely anything can pass through unless it's trampled. Or Black Pips. So that is our 3-wide deck. This is a full 25-star team. If we're going to swap anybody out, we could, of course, go to the original build. But I like this whole Decepticon thing. I like having a kill crew, as it were, because they are going to be dealing massive amounts of guaranteed damage, which they cannot stop. So, let's move into the deck. We pick this up. First off, for our hefty weapon loadout, because we are able to pick them up and reoccur them. Plus, we have Nova Storm now. So, we are running 3 copies of Crowbar. Let me zoom in on that. Yeah. Alright, so we got 3 copies of Crowbar. Crowbar is a double black pit, meaning when we flip this, we're getting Pierce 2. That means everybody is going to be getting very close to their base damage values. It is a +2 that scraps at the end of the turn. So this is our black grenade launcher. Many people are still testing this out. I think this is a good place for it, is in the Black Pierce deck. Next up we have HV Electron Blaster. We played 3 of that. That is a Decepticon only. The deck is now fully Decepticon only, so we don't have to worry about that. It is a single black pit +2, so we, again, on the flip, are able to bump up our Pierce and have a pretty decent damage bonus. Following that is our old friend Laser Cutlass. Laser Cutlass we're playing, of course, out of 3 of. As the only character that can't equip it is Trigger Happy. Everybody else is 7 or less. +1 Pierce 3, it's a blue pip. Goes great on everybody. Makes, even if we don't meet Nova Storm's actual ability requirement, we still are giving her +3 at a 6 Pierce 3, which is decent. We have 3 copies of Handheld Blaster. It's there for the double blue pip. Moving on. We have 3 copies of Armed Hovercraft. This lets us be able to deal 1 point damage to everybody, all the opposing enemies, so a nice even spread of damage sprinkled throughout. +1, a fair amount of our guys can do it because they're ranged. So, well, I say that, but only half the characters can equip this. But still, you pop it on, swing it, then pop it off with a better weapon. We're running 2 copies of Scoundrel's Blaster. If we're facing an Autobot deck, we get Pierce 2, but it's still +2 that we can also pick it up because it's a green pip. So +2 Pierce 2 is not too bad. It's a reoccurring weapon at this point. We're running into our actions. We're running 2 copies of The Bigger They Are. The majority of us, we are still a 7 and a 5 and a 5 and an 8. So the Bigger They Are is going to let us get +2 and Pierce 4. We're going to be able to hit and swing upwards and do quite a big things because more characters are getting beefier in star counts. I may bump this up to a 3 of and may bump Pep Talk down to a 2 of. I just got to play test a little bit more and see which way I want to go, but right now it's at a 2 of. Again, this may go up to a 3 of. We're running 3 copies of Pep Talk. This is a draw 2, so we get a +1 to our hand because we break even on the pitch, play this, and draw. So we only get a +1. That's fine. I believe Octone's actually in this picture, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it's a simple draw 2. It's a blue pip. It's good. Since we're trying to slow some damage down, we got some secret actions here. Dampening Field. When one of your characters defend, your opponent can't flip more than 4 battle cards this turn. This says that once they get that white pip, that's it. You got your 4, or once you go to however you get your 4, being bold 2, bold 5, bold 7, whatever. Once you hit 4, you're done. Doesn't matter. Running 3 copies of Security Checkpoint. Security Checkpoint is our other double blue. It's an action that says each player reveals their hand and scraps all upgrades. This is a double-edged sword because this will potentially nuke your hand too, but it also gets a lot of stuff out of the opponent's hand, and it's really necessary. Especially with this meta, because there's a lot of good upgrades out now. And the double blue hoops. Next up, we're going with 3 copies of Steady Shot. Steady Shot is a blue-black. Gives you +2 to the end of turn for your attack. We get to flip, we get more Pierce, we get a pretty decent sized bonus of +2. I like it. And next up, our other whites are Force Field. Because we have some fragile people, we got a 5, a 12, and a 10. 2 12s and a 10. So we need to be able to guard them from as much damage as possible. The damage output in the sets are getting bigger and bigger. So being able to take a 15-point shot and turn it into 4 damage is very necessary. 3 copies of Extra Padding, because Extra Padding is very good and almost a necessity in a blue deck. Tough 1, which could potentially come Tough 3. We get to pick it up. Really good armor. And then finally, to round out the deck, we got Smoke Cloak. So Smoke Cloak is another blue-black. Gives us tough 1 and lets us get more Pierce if we flip. And guys, that's the deck. As we put out the guys back again, zoom out to 1.5, maybe 1.2, depending on how much space is being taken up. 1.2 it is. There we go, we can see everybody. And that's the deck, guys. This is 4-wide Pierce Wave 4 version. I've tested this out. It's a lot of fun. Nova Storm with the upgraded amount of black is really good. You're able to put out a lot more damage consistently. This does take a little bit away because we can't run, like, say, grenade launcher in here. That could still be sideboarded. You could sideboard out the grenade launcher for the crowbar very easily. If you have to sideboard anybody, you can put Mirage back in over Nova Storm. You can put in Fireflight over Headstrong, but for the life of me, I don't know why, because he's brave with tough 1 at 3 armor, which is very good. So really what you're looking to do is find a good replacement for Nova Storm. Again, the Mirage is very, very good. You can do Raider, helicopter guy from Superion, whose name escapes me at the moment, but he's the other helicopter, only other helicopter other than Sinister and Sandstorm. Oh, hey, 3-wide helicopter. Maybe I'll do that later. Anyways, this is 4-wide. Hope you guys like it. I ran through this a little bit faster than the last video, but that's because the deck really didn't change too much, but it's still fun. It's still very effective nonetheless. Guys, I hope you like these videos. Please like, subscribe. I hope you like the new camera style we're using. I am over at my LCS, Tabletops Hobby and Games, over in Antioch, Tennessee. It's one of the boroughs of Nashville. We are running Transformers from 3 to 7 on Saturdays. If you are in that area or in the area visiting, hopefully you can swing by. I should be here most of the time, and I'm always ready for a game. Again, don't forget to like the video. You can dislike it too if you want. Leave some comments, tell me your thoughts, and I'll see you guys next time.